The history of gladiators dates back to ancient Rome, where they were primarily trained fighters who participated in public spectacles known as gladiatorial games. These games were first introduced in Rome during the 3rd century BCE, inspired by earlier Etruscan and Greek traditions of combat as a form of ritualistic display, often tied to funerary rites. Initially, gladiatorial contests were organized as part of funeral games to honor deceased aristocrats, where slaves or prisoners of war would fight to the death in the arena. Over time, however, these brutal contests evolved into a form of popular entertainment for the Roman public, sponsored by emperors, politicians, or wealthy citizens to gain favor and demonstrate power. The fighters known as gladiators were typically slaves, criminals, or prisoners of war, though some volunteered to become gladiators in exchange for money, fame, or a sense of adventure. These volunteers were called octorati, and while their lives as gladiators were often harsh, they were also trained in specialized schools, known as ludi, where they learned various fighting techniques and how to wield different weapons. Gladiators could fight with swords, spears, tridents, or nets, depending on their classification, and the contests were often carefully choreographed and staged, with the combatants following a set of rules. However, the combat was still dangerous, and many gladiators died in the arena. The gladiatorial games became an integral part of Roman culture, particularly during the reigns of emperors such as Augustus and Commodus. These games served not only as entertainment but also as a way to display the power and wealth of the ruling elite. The Colosseum in Rome, an iconic symbol of ancient Roman architecture, was the most famous venue for these games, where thousands of spectators could watch gladiators fight to the death, sometimes alongside exotic animals or elaborate mock naval battles. The events were also used as a tool of political propaganda, with emperors using the games to maintain control over the populace by keeping them entertained and distracted. The gladiatorial games began to decline during the 5th century CE as the Roman Empire weakened. By the reign of Emperor Constantine in the early 4th century, Christianity had gained significant influence, and its teachings condemned the bloodshed and violence of the gladiatorial combats. In 404 CE, the last known gladiatorial fight took place in the Colosseum, marking the formal end of this tradition. While gladiators remain iconic figures in the collective memory of Rome, their role as warriors in the arena was ultimately replaced by other forms of entertainment and political spectacle in the waning days of the Roman Empire. Despite their brutal origins, the legacy of gladiators has persisted in modern culture, through films, books, and the continued fascination with their story.